Okay, Moana. We're gonna draw Moana. Now her face, first thing I see, we're gonna focus on her face, but it's roundish, but it's also oval, and you go down straight from her chin to her nose to her forehead to the top of her head. There's a slight angle. So let's set that up. Then we're gonna draw a round circle, and the chin's, from the circle, the chin's gonna pop up, and then the top of the head's gonna pop up. So let's say we wanna make it something like this. We drop in the chin there. She's kind of got a level chin here. Then she has big cheekbones here, or cheekbones, yes, and jawbone here. This, you can see this angle here. This is an important angle. Then she has big cheekbones, and it comes up. The hairline is about right here. Okay, the eyes, this angle. So about like that. The eyes typically go right in the middle of the head. This is a cartoon, so it may not always be that accurate. Okay, the hairline. So we go here. Okay, so the hairline comes up here. Her forehead comes up here. There's an angle here with the hair. Then we see the ear. The ear's kind of wide. And then she has all her hair going on here. It's about like that. Then let's set up the neck. Neck spot right here comes straight down. And then it curves. This one, her neck is tilted. So you see how long this is and how short this. Okay, I didn't have the mic set up right, so let me kind of make some adjustments here. Okay, so I hope you can hear me now. Okay, so you want to see how big the eyes are, because this is not real. So even though the eyes follow this path here, there's two angles to her eyes, like that. And then there's the nose. And the space, you want to make sure this space here, the bridge of the nose is the right length. And to see that is, you drop in like the general idea of the eyes. She's got really big eyes. Oh, okay, so this one goes down, and you see this goes straight, and then it curves up. So I had this dipping down. That's not correct. It's more going straight across, and then curving in. Same with this. So there's a little straightness to that. And then there's quite a big bow here. Quite a big bow here. And her eyes are spaced out more than usual. So the nose is kind of like this. Okay, so there's not a lot of definition in there. But we do know her nose is kind of roundish, and there's a little curve there. Okay, but the general angle of the eyes and nose has to follow. So, corrections. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm putting these lines in to help me, because there's not a lot of definitions in here and very little lines. And so does this come out this far? I'm asking myself, and I don't think it does. Okay, so then we want to get the general slope of the mouth. A very broad smile. Where does that end? It ends right about, let's say the eye is like that. It ends about right here. This eye a little bit cut off. You see that? It's cut off. Not as much is showing. Okay. Maybe I bowed it up too much. So I'm going to take that back a little bit. This one bows up and comes in. But they're both pretty general slopes. Okay, now she has these creases here. She has big cheekbones. Sometimes you draw these extra guidelines so you don't forget that there's big cheeks there or other bone structure underneath. So she has a big, okay, so I think I've curved that down too much. So, and this angle here comes like this. And so these circles, they help. Okay, so. So she has a small upper lip there, small lower lip. Okay, now you see how much the chin comes right up underneath. So this is about right. You can't see the real definite end to the chin, but you could see from here to here, that's probably equal to the bottom of the lip to the bottom of his nose. So that's about right. Okay, so let's drop in the eyes a little bit more. Make sure that how much is covered is accurate. You drop in the eyes, and you drop in a little highlight, and you fill in the dark. Same with this. How much does the bottom of the eye pupil get to the bottom of the eyelid? And so I need to drop that in a little bit further down. And then the pupil itself, the darkest spot on the eye, that one's being hidden by the top eyelid as well. So, and that's really important because it really gives personality. Okay, so you see what you got there. There's very little definition of the nose, a little curvature at the end of the smile is always good to drop in. And now I'm going to start erasing some of these guidelines. Okay, so that's how you draw Moana. Now, you see this necklace here. You want to show that this little pendant is heavy, so you want to make sure it looks like it's pulling. It goes around the neck like this because it's going to continue over here. Sometimes I'll draw this line here, make sure it looks like it flows right. Okay, and then the pendant's in an angle like this. Okay. Shoulders here, you see how the neck and the shoulder transitions really quickly. She's a young girl, small girl, so the shoulder is not going to be, huge and broad. You could see here, now there's a shadow that the eyelid creates, so that sets off the personality. Then there's lines in the pupil, in the eye. Okay, now you can drop in eyelashes, that gives it personality. You can see on the ends, you get a little bit more. And then hers is bottom eyelashes are well defined, so you drop those in. then let's start taking out some of these. You see her forehead comes up pretty much. It's rounded. Her head probably continues around like that. I draw those in because it really helps me know the piece, the physical bone structure, and where everything connects with this. So you're sketching in the hair. You show the outer limit. It gets thinner here, and then it starts streaming out. So you can draw the hair like this. So hair can get pretty tricky. You don't have to draw every strand, but you do want to kind of show that they are separate strands. And so we see that there's some, it's not an even smooth line because our hair is wavy. So I'll do things like this. And so we define the outside of the outside contour of the hair first, and with individual strokes. And then inside we will fill it up with maybe crosshatch or something, because it's obviously it's all dark. So crosshatch might look like something like this. Okay, so the ear, we gotta measure, you gotta check it against where the eye is or some other piece and see that, okay, does that look the same? Like this angle here, and is that placed in the right place? So that's pretty close. It's not critical because it's just the ear, but it's good practice for other things. And so what I'm drawing here, I'm doing it really quickly, but it's cross-hatching, and I want to keep it loose and sketchy, but you don't have to do that. It depends on what the drawing is for and what you're wanting to do and what you like to do. So, and you don't want to make her look blonde, and then you don't want to always draw every strand. So you kind of fill it in here, and there's lights and dark patterns occurring. And so little things like that really count. You could put, stronger lines in between, then lighter lines, and some cross-hatching. So this is a real creative type of thing, and it's very individual. So I drew these here, and then usually there's a highlight right here. And so I stop right here to indicate a highlight. You try not to do too much of the angle. You don't want to cross hatch at right angles, in other words. So I kind of got too far there. But see, this is the main, and then there's a few stragglers coming out here. So you do it that way. Then I forgot the eyebrows. The distance is important. You want to be able to follow the eye because they're in relation. Both sides are the same. But depending on the position, they might look different, different sizes. So in which case, this is a case where it does. This one looks longer, but because of that, the 3/4 angle, it looks a little bit different. So I kind of got this. I think I need to touch it up a little bit, but that's basically it. There's no defined shadow, but sometimes I'll create a defined shadow and drop it in lightly and then have it fade out like that. Maybe some cross hatching like that, and then so you just drop out those guidelines, You could even take this one out. You can leave it too. And now it's important to drop the shade in there because there's no lines that define her cheeks. So you do it with cross-hatching. You see that there's a nice little highlight here that really gives it a 3D quality. Then you could even vary the thickness of the line between the lips. And at the ends, sometimes there's openings, so you draw that a little bit darker, and it gives the indication that it's there's a little opening. And then so I'm gonna go in here, and you drop out, and I'm gonna do it really quickly, just to clean this up a little bit, but you want to take a little more attention to it. And that's about it.